Hello, and welcome to episode 61 of the Law Firm Marketing Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Christopher Small, and I am excited to be here with you this week. It's my first week back at work after having the baby, and I must say I'm a little tired, and I've been trying to get caught up on everything, but it's kind of nice to get back into a routine and get back to work, get back to helping people, get back to making a little cash, get back to talking to you guys. So here we are. Let's see what else is going on. Not much. Just busting away. I've been really trying to work on productivity lately. Really been trying to hone in on making sure I get everything done that I need to on a day-to-day basis. The new baby has really made that a priority for me because I don't have as much time as I used to back in the day. You know, I can't work 12 hours a day because wifey wants me home, and I want to be home too to hang out with my kids. So now it's important for me to really maximize my time, maximize my productivity, and make sure that I'm getting the most out of all of my day. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, managing the to-do list. That's the true topic for today. It's not just about productivity. It's about coming up with a way to get things done. And for me, in the past, that had been to-do lists. So what I would do is I would go and I would create these really, really, really long lists of to-dos. You know what I'm talking about? 50, 60 things that I thought that needed to be done. I wouldn't prioritize them. I wouldn't do anything. I would just write them all down, and then I would say to myself, hey, I'm just going to start knocking these out one at a time. Start at 1, 2, 3, 4. The problem, though, is that the list kept growing. I would do things out of order. I would just ignore the list sometimes and just do what was coming up on my email. And it just hasn't been a very productive system. And for a long time, I've been trying to get out of that habit of making these really, really big, long to-do lists. But these to-do lists are kind of a crutch for me too, because I get to spend some time making the to-do list, which gives me the satisfaction of feeling like I'm doing something without actually doing anything, and also not having to tackle the things that may make me feel uncomfortable or may be a little scary. For example, this podcast. Every time I get up on here, I really love talking to all of you, but I have to push myself to get out here and talk to you because it's scary, right? And I wonder, am I going to have anything to say today? Is it going to be good? Are you going to like it? So I really have to push myself to get out here and do it. And this is sometimes one of the things that can be on the to-do list that can just get pushed to the back burner. That's why I didn't have a podcast for a couple of months, or I was real spotty on when I would put content out. But lately I've been pushing myself. You're going to do this every week. You're going to be consistent. There's plenty to talk about, and by your reactions out there to me, I can tell that it makes a difference for you. So that is important to me. So that's kind of my history with to-do lists. I've bounced around. I've looked at other things. Whenever I see an article about productivity or about getting things done, I always read it. I always think about implementing the new thing, and it sort of works and sort of doesn't work. So I wanted to talk about that today, about what's going on and about why to-do lists may not be the right way to go for you. I don't think they're going to be the right way to go for me. I've kind of moved away from to-do lists because what I also did when I had my to-do list was I would do all the easy stuff first, like I already talked about. I would push the hard stuff to the back burner. I would push the stuff that would take a lot of time to the back burner, which meant that while I felt like at the end of the day I was getting a lot done, I wasn't actually moving forward with the business as fast as I wanted to. I wasn't moving forward even with this podcast or with life as fast as I wanted to, because I wasn't forcing myself to do the things that would make the biggest difference in my life. Right? I was doing the easy things, like I was I don't know, pay the bills today, or email that person back, or just stupid stuff, right? And so I'm getting away from that. And so that's kind of the past and where I've been. I want to talk a little bit about kind of what I'm trying to do now and kind of where I'm going. Because I haven't completely eliminated the to-do list. What I've done though is I've kind of I'm utilizing technology to manage what I do and when I do it, and I'm also taking the time to kind of plan ahead so that I'm not always reacting to what's going on around me. Instead, I have a plan of action that I'm executing day by day, so I know what's coming up and I know what I have to do, and then I can just do it. Which, by the way, a lot of people I think use their email as a to-do list. They look through there and based on what they see, that's what they do. I wanna really advise you to just stop doing that. Okay, I want to advise you to turn your email off when you get to work. Only check it like once or twice a day, maybe 3 times if you really feel the need. Because while email makes us feel special when people are sending us stuff or we're getting stuff, what your email really is another person's to-do list. Right? They are prioritizing your tasks for you, and I can guarantee you that if you wait a couple of hours to answer an email or even a day to answer an email, it's not going to be the end of the world. You're not going to miss out on an opportunity, unless it's a potential client or something like that. But in that case, then maybe you want to have those kind of emails forwarded to a special place that you'll get notification of, maybe a separate email address where you'll get a notice that you can pop up, because you do want to get back to those people real quickly. But everything else really can go by the wayside, and that will save you a ton of time, and it will allow you to actually get the things done that you need to do instead of the things that other people want you to do. All right, so stop it with the email. It's bad. Turn it off. I know it's it's like crack, right? I think there have been studies done that have showed that the response in your brain to when you get an email, that ping, or a text message ping, it's the same as what people get when they smoke crack. And that's why it's addictive, right? Because it triggers that physiological response in your brain, and you want more and you want more. That's why you're always checking. And again, that's an easy way to escape actually having to sit down and do things. Right now I'm on this podcast. I don't have the ability to check my email. I don't have the ability to, go on Facebook. I don't have the ability to do any of those things that take away from moving forward with what I really, really want to do, and with my goals and my aspirations. All right. So I'm going to talk real briefly. I guess I'm going to talk about kind of some of the things that I do and then the system that I have in place to maximize my productivity on a day-to-day basis. There are a couple of different applications that I use on my phone to help me do this. The first is called Lyft, L-I-F-T. Okay, not L-Y-F-T, which is the sort of the Uber competitor. This is an app. It's free. It's related to personal development in a way. But what it does is it allows you to create some goals, some daily goals that you want to do, some things that you want to accomplish on a day-to-day basis, and you can then track your progress. Each day you can look at your Lyft, at your specific Lyft, and you can say, have I done these things today, right? Have I? And for me, I have a couple different things. Most of them are personal productivity, but they're still important to me, right? Smile at a stranger, reach out to someone new, walk the dog, journal, weigh myself, do 50 push-ups, do one of my Spanish lessons, right? I want to learn Spanish. So I'm making it a priority to spend, 15 to 30 minutes a day working on my Spanish skills. So all these things I have in Lyft. So each day I look at that and I make sure that I accomplish these tasks. And most of these are small things, but things that make a big difference as you do them day after day after day. All right. So that's the first kind of personal productivity, or the first productivity tool that I use to help make sure that I am doing the things that I want to do, the things that are important to me, and the things that will make a big difference in my life. The second thing that I do is I have a system of things set up so that I can work through projects and get things done as is necessary. And there's a graphic that I use to do this, and I've stolen it I haven't stolen the graphic, but I've borrowed the graphic from this guy named Julian Smith. He has a blog. I think it's called inoveryourhead.net. But if you Google Julian, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But if you Google Julian Smith and In Over Your Head, his site will pop up and you can look through it. It's real cool. This guy just talks about his life and his thoughts on business and entrepreneurship and productivity and getting the most out of life. And one of the things that he talks about on there is his personal productivity system, the way that he gets things done. And I thought it was a great system, and so I've kind of adopted it. And what it does is it allows you to sort of kind of create those big to-do lists, or those, create goals and then work down a project list and get things done. All right. So the first thing that you do is, and it involves three separate things. The first thing it involves is your calendar, right, which we all have. The second thing that it involves is this thing called reminders, okay? And to do that, we use this app called revamped, all right? And then the third thing that I use is Basecamp, which is my project management tool, okay? And I use those three things in unison to help me get things done, all right? So the first thing that I do every day, and I'm going to take one more step back. There's also one more bigger picture thing to this than the to-do list, the calendars, the reminders, whatever. And that is every day, or every night, I guess, when I go to bed, I think about what is the one thing that I want to do tomorrow, or the one thing that I need to do tomorrow to make it feel like a success. What is the one thing that I need to accomplish to feel like I have done something on this day to move me forward towards my biggest goal? And what I will typically do is try to get that out of the way right at the very beginning of the day, so that, I know I've done something that's relevant and that's helpful to me and to my goals. And B, it feels really good to get started off on the right track with something good and something big. I'm usually my most productive in the morning, and that's why I do it. That's why I do it at that time. So, for example, for me today, I had the number one thing that I wanted to do was finish up and post the content for this week's Law Firm Confidential module, which was about creating your homepage and creating your about page, and doing so in a way that is as persuasive as possible to your potential clients that reach your website. And I did that. The second thing was getting this podcast done. And so, as you can tell, I'm almost there, and I'll be done with it by the end of the morning, and then it's all gravy from there. So whatever I can do the rest of this day is just adding on to my productivity, and it's great. So okay, so after that one major thing I do, I look at the calendar. I look at my calendar, right? Step one, is there anything on there that I need to do, right? If the answer is yes, then I go on there and I do that thing until it's done. So for sometimes that might be doing something with court. Sometimes it might be a team meeting. It might be a lunch with a referral partner. It might be anything. It might be working on some brief that I need to do, where I've actually blocked off the time on the calendar today to do that, which I would encourage all of you to do, by the way. If you know that you need to do something, block off time on your calendar, and then don't allow anything to get scheduled in there. If you need to write a brief, if you need to work on your website, if you need to make phone calls to potential referral sources, if you need to write a blog post, don't just put it on your to-do list. Actually put it on your calendar, and then when that time comes, sit down and spend an hour and knock that thing out. Okay, that's what your calendar is for, is to really allow you to manage your time, and let your staff know, or anybody that's helping you, look, if this is on there, if my calendar is full at that time, don't schedule anything for me then. Move it. All right? Okay. All right, so first thing is calendar. Is there anything there? Yeah. If there is, do it until it's done. If not, then I go and check reminders. Okay. And this is another app that I use called Re.Minder. Okay. It's another free application. I'll put a link to all this stuff in the show notes so you can go check them out. But if you have an iPhone, just go to the App Store and search for Re.Minder, and it'll pop up. All right. If there's something on your reminders, okay, if you see something that's due today or that you need to do, then you have two options. You can do that thing right now, immediately, or you can defer it immediately. Don't put it off until later in the day. Either do it or do not do it. Okay. And then you just do or defer those things until you don't have anything left on your reminders list. So, for example, I can tell you today. Let me look at mine. So here's what I have today on mine. Article about House Bill 520 and DUIs. Change address on our business cards. Order Strider and Erica more business cards. Check on some payment info for some potential clients. And that's it, right? So what I would do is I would go through those things and I would say, okay, should I do those things now or should I defer them? And I probably would do most of those things right now. Just knock them out, bang, 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 and then I would be done. So once the reminders list is clear or deferred, and when you're using a reminder, by the way, if you decide that you're not going to do something that's on your reminders for today, then edit the reminder and make it due tomorrow. Okay, so that way you can look at your reminders and you know that you don't have anything looming over you. Because it's kind of one of those things where, they say like cluttered desk, cluttered mind. It's the same thing. So if you're not going to do something today, then move it to tomorrow. You don't want that hanging over your head. You don't want that taking up your thought processes, your space in your head. Okay. The third thing that I do is then if I have nothing on my calendar, nothing in reminders, then I go to Basecamp. Okay, and I look at the first thing that's there on my to-do list. All right. And if I have deferred that thing before, then it's just time to go and knock it out. Okay. If I have not done it or deferred it before, or if I have not deferred it before, then I either do it or I defer it. All right. And I go through that process until, again, I have a bunch of stuff knocked out on those lists. And then if I see that I don't have anything on my list, and I guess I'll back up a little bit too. The way that Basecamp works is you can set projects. So, for example, you could set a goal like I want to make $100,000 this year. You could then back into how you want to do that, right? So you would say, you want to make $10,000 first quarter. You want to make 30 the second quarter. You want to make 50 the third quarter, and we'll make it, and whatever else gets you to 100, right? 50, I don't know, 20, 30, 40. Okay. And then you would, again, back into what you want, the things that you needed to do that. You just keep expanding on those to-do lists until you have daily projects that you can do. All right. So if you come to the point in Basecamp that you don't have anything on your list, then you look at your first active project. Okay, the first thing that you have that as a project but doesn't have any to-dos listed on it yet. The first thing that you ask yourself then is it still relevant? Is that project still relevant? If the answer is yes, then you come up with something to do to move it forward. Okay, when you come up with that something to do to move it forward, then you decide when should it be done. Okay, if it's to be done on a specific date and time, then you put it on your calendar. If it's to be done on a specific day or every day, then you put it in a reminder, you put it into Lyft. If it's to be done every day, and then if it can be done anytime, then just put the action in your to-do list in Basecamp, and then you move on. So eventually you'll have another list of things that you need to do to move your project forward, and then you just move your way back to the top of the funnel, and you work your way down. If you look at your first active project and it's not still relevant, then you don't just leave it there. You don't save it. You don't ignore it. You delete it. You archive it. You put it in the back burner. And then maybe sometime you can go and make it a point every quarter or every 6 months to go and look at your archive projects and see if any of them have become relevant again to the point that they need to be revived and pursued. Because it's cluttered mind. If you leave stuff sitting around, it's gonna hurt you from getting your maximum productivity. It's going to hurt you from reaching the goals that you want to reach. So that's it. I mean, that's basically it. That's how I roll, and it's been working out really well. I feel more productive. I feel better about, my day-to-day activities. I feel better about the way that the firm and this site, Law Firm Marketing Mastery, are moving forward. I feel better about the time that I'm spending with my family because I'm not thinking about the things that I should be doing. And all in all, it's been pretty great. Now, that's not to say that there aren't any bumps in the road and that there won't be bumps in the road for you. But the key is, though, to just stick to the process for, man, at least a month. Okay? You need at least a month to really try this out and test it and stick to it and be disciplined about it to see if it's something that you like. Because for anyone, change is going to be disruptive. Change is going to feel uncomfortable, and you need to allow your mind and your body to become, you know, used to this new way of thinking, this new way of doing things, so that it becomes a new habit. You know, it's just like going to the gym or anything else. At first, it sucks, but if you stick with it over time, your body and your mind start to enjoy that, and will actually miss it if you don't go. Same with this, okay? If you stick to your good productivity plan, then the sky's the limit. All right. One last thing. I have a couple of other thoughts on productivity generally that I wanted to mention before I get off the podcast here, and then I have a request for all of you. Okay, something I'd like to hear from you. So, first, some thoughts on productivity. Number one, again, stay away from email. Right, close your email down. Turn off your alerts. You don't need to be pinged every time, Banana Republic tells you about a new sale that they have, or when your fantasy golf team or your fantasy baseball team lineup is due. You don't need those to get those alerts all day. All that does is mess with your ability to get anything done. The other thing is number two is manage the phone. Right, if as soon as you can, get someone else to answer your phones and manage the phones for you. And the way that we do it is, if somebody calls and they ask for me, we have the first inquiry is this an emergency? If it is not an emergency, then Audrey figures out, she asks what is the call about, and then she schedules a time for me to call them back. And then what she does is she will block 4, 5, 6 phone calls in a row, and in the calendar she'll tell me what each call is about, so I can look at them and prepare for the phone call before I call the person back. That way, if I can answer the question, for example, in an email, or if I can answer the question without needing to make the phone call, then I do that. Also, though, if I do make the phone call, it makes the phone calls much shorter because I already know what they want to ask, and I'm ready with an answer most of the time. Or I can tell them, hey, I don't have the answer. I'm going to need a couple of days, but I'll get the answer, and I'll email you the answer. So manage the phone. When the phone's always ringing, you're not going to be able to get anything done. All right? Number 3, block out time to do big projects, like I talked about. It's okay to spend half a day just thinking about and working on your website. It's okay to spend a whole day doing it if you want. But, working 10 minutes on a blog post here, 10 minutes on a blog post there, it's not going to be as effective for you as if you would just take the time, turn everything off, turn your phone off, turn email off, turn everything off, and just sit down and knock out that one thing that you need to do. That's really going to get you a great response or a great feedback. Okay? And then the fourth thing is to block out time to just think and strategize. Block out time where you're not working on some specific project, where you're actually thinking about the direction of your firm, of the direction of your life, the direction of your business, the direction of your marketing plans. Without taking the time to strategize and really take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you're just simply not going to get the results that you want. So do it, okay? Block out an hour. Block out half an hour every day to just think about and reflect on what's happened, what's going on, what you want to do in the future, and if you're actually doing what you need to do to get where you're going. The good thing about this is you're going to make great strides in your business. The bad thing is, I think a lot of times when you reflect, you're going to realize that you are wasting a lot of time doing things that don't really matter for you or your life or your business. That you're wasting a lot of time doing things that other people think you should do, or that other people want you to do, that you don't need to necessarily do. All right? Okay, so that's it for today. Before I go, though, I want to ask you for some help. So I want to do more interviews here on the show, and I want to know who you would like me to interview or what kind of topics you would like to know about. So if you have someone that you think would be helpful to interview on here, and this doesn't have to be lawyers, it can be anyone basically related to business and entrepreneurship, leadership, management. The sky is really the limit. I will pretty much talk to anyone because they will always have lessons with overcoming failure and overcoming fear and pursuing their dreams that can be helpful for us and we can apply it to our own lives. So if you have that person that you think would be great on here, email me, chris@lawfirmmarketingmastery.com, and tell me who they are. And if you have their contact information, that would be great. If you have a personal relationship with them, let me know so that I can tell them, that you recommended that they come on the show, and then we'll get going. I have a couple of people already lined up, and I think, we all get a lot out of the interviews. I know I do, and I'm sure that you do. So I want to do more of those in the future. So don't hesitate and send that to me. Also, if Law Firm Confidential is still going on, I'm going to open up the membership again, I think, here in maybe like a month or so. If you are interested and you aren't already on my email list in some way, then you can go to lawfirmmarketingmastery.com/lawfirmconfidential, I believe, and you can sign up to get some information about when that's going to open back up. The site is getting really built out. If you are starting a law firm, this is a must join program. If you have already started your firm and you are looking to build it, I've already gotten into material that I guarantee you will help you build your law firm and make it better. I've got information about website design and copywriting. I've got information about sales meetings and how to do great sales meetings. I've got information about Facebook marketing on there. That interview I just did with Jacob Sapochnik, there's some real gold in there in the second half that I reserve for members of Law Firm Confidential, and I'd love to have you be a part of it. I think the bigger that the group gets, the better that we all will get, because it's kind of a group think kind of a thing. You come in there, you work on your business, you get to talk to other people about your progress and your setbacks, and we all get to help push each other forward. So be on the lookout for that. And otherwise, I hope you all have a great week. I hope you have a great month. And that's it for today. See ya.